Dig a little bit deeper on Egypt now. To help us analyze how things are going right now, we are joined by PJ Crowley, a former spokesperson at the U.S. State Department. I saw you bob your head up and down. So apparently these are decisions you're in agreement with to a certain degree in terms of bringing about perhaps some stability.
Well, certainly. I mean, these are very good signals to the international community. Obviously, the greatest challenge that Egypt has is a political one, but it's also an economic one. The longer this turmoil goes on, the more difficult it will be to economically recover. Egypt's economy has been struggling for 2 years, since the protests in 2011. El-Beblawi is actually better known outside of Egypt than he is inside of Egypt. So, this will reassure the international community. Obviously doesn't necessarily solve the internal political divide that exists in the country.
But in a sense, it's almost rounding up the usual suspects. These are similar people who surfaced after Mubarak fell.
Well, no, but these are members of the opposition. Now, in terms of getting to a government of national unity, you've got to entice the Muslim Brotherhood, back into the political process. That remains the greatest challenge of the interim government.
And how do you go about that when there's so much anger and resentment at this stage?
You've got to let that play out a little bit. Obviously, the interim president has put forward a very aggressive timeline, to get to a new constitution.
Too aggressive?
Well, it remains to be seen whether Egypt has the capacity, to get there. But obviously, the Muslim Brotherhood's going to have to, calculate where its long-term self-interest is. If they stay outside of the process, they have a risk of being left behind.
Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates sending more than $8 billion in cash and goods. Does this, both, of course, opposed Mohamed Morsi, does this signify a less important role for the United States in a sense?
No, I think everyone recognizes that getting Egypt stabilized is vitally important. Egypt is the political center of the Middle East. No one benefits in the region, from an implosion inside of Egypt. This is a recognition of why Egypt is important to the rest of the region.
Of course, your old boss, President Obama, has not called this a coup. There's ramifications involved in that. Do you think that's a good move on his part?
Well, I think the White House is signaling that we're going to take our time to get this right. It is a unique circumstance. It was a coup. On the other hand, those who were protesting, there were more people who signed the petition to get rid of Morsi than voted for him in the first place. So, it's how to help get Egypt to a stronger, deeper democracy. That's what the United States is trying to figure out.
PJ Crowley, always a delight to have you in. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you, Mike.